Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Plug you in, my tuning up frequency. Jett and the crew, they got the remedy. Discussing bats and all his legacy. Mike is savage. Welcome to the social hour. We're talking gospel, flying power. Look in the field of protest, got the keys to the Batmobile. Lights go down the shots about to start. Chance listen, striking like a dog. We're battle ways apart. We're in deep, not sleep. Welcome to the social hour, exploring Gotham's darkest hours. Tune in, feel the charge. Jett set the hill with going large.
Welcome to the Social Hour Batman on Film podcast, batman-on-film.com. Don't forget the dashes. It's only been 27 years, Ron Lauer. 27 years.
Sure.
Ron Lauer's here today for this Social Hour broadcast. Senior BOF contributor. This is episode number 204. Let's ride!
Let's ride!
204. Yeah. All right, Ryan. How are you, sir?
Let's ride! I'm doing well. Thank you, Bill. I feel like I'm in Texas a little bit right now because it has been a hot MFer
Okay,
this past week.
Let's talk hot.
So let's ride about let's go weather, okay?
Let's talk
go
hot. Okay. Give me the temp.
All right. The temps this week have reached mid 90s. I hate the whole, heat index really feels like that has, I believe, exceeded the old triple
100.
digits.
Yeah.
Let's see, we had a pool day. I got fried. The sun went down, went out to the pool just to feel the water. The water was hotter then than it was while we were in it earlier in the day. It's been cooking this past week
Okay.
here.
That is warm. That is hot. You hit.
I like you said, that's warm. Yeah, sure. That's nice.
You hit midnight. Look, we hit mid-90s. We had a cooler than normal spring into, well, yeah, now it's summer.
It
where up until about 10 days ago, the highs were only in the 80s, which is
It's chilly.
unusual for this time of year in June. Now we're hitting some 90s, mid 90s, probably what you're getting, but it's still, we're not hitting those 98, 99, 100, 101 yet. Now that's coming, I'm sure. Oh, by the way, I'm merely Bill Ramey, the founder of Batman on Film.
Bill's here.
If you didn't know who was speaking, yes.
Now you do.
Yeah. So, okay. I know the East Coast, like Boudin Pockets territory, had like a huge heat wave where, because I was watching Texas Rangers were playing in Baltimore, and they were talking about how hot and humid it was. Baltimore being on the coast. So, yeah, there's your weather talk. But it'll cool down. It'll shift. You'll probably got a little heat dome over y'all, right? And then
foreseeable future, we're in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, next 10 days, we're rocking in the 80s. So we're cruising in the 80s, which is fine as long as I'm by water. I'm one that I don't like it hot unless I'm by water.
If you are, okay, you were talking about how this is hot. Like we're having a little heat wave. It's out of the ordinary heat this time of year for Indiana. A typical summer, June, July. Here we are, about to be July. When do you go, whew, that's hot? And I'm not talking about being, just in general, average.
I kind of feel like,
yeah,
when we're reaching 90s, and I'm kind of like, ugh. 80s is like, that's like, we'll say it's hot, but we expect like the streak of 80s is coming. We get it. It sticks around for a while. That's usually, I think, can expect that mid late July and then a good chunk of August is consistently, we're rocking 80s every single day. And
No
it'll
80s
of course be
or
up
or
and
80s
down.
and or 80s in June out of ordinary?
Um, Not out of the ordinary. Uh, but it's just not as common that it's coming and sticking around consistently.
Yeah.
It'll kind of, ebb and flow, I think, in June a little bit. Um, I don't know. I think I've said it on here before too, of sometimes there's like an image of somebody wearing uh shorts, snow boots, a rain slicker, and a ball cap and mowing the lawn for Indiana, and it's May. And it's like, all right, I'm ready for anything. And
Okay.
it's kind of
Okay.
true. We had snow on Mother's Day. I think it's in the past 5 years or something like that
Is
before
that right?
we've reached
Okay.
80s randomly in April. Like,
Okay.
so I
Well,
guess you
there's
can say like we're prepped for hot weather in July and we've got it. It's
okay. Well,
coming. So
yeah. There's your weather talk here on the social hour.
you're
Before
welcome.
we're going to get to Batman.
Oh,
Is
thank
this
gosh.
is Batman on film. This is a Batman podcast. Well, generally topic is usually something about Batman, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Believe it or not.
it's crazy.
So real quick though, before we get there, how on board were you and invested in the Pacers in the NBA Finals?
Boudin pockets got me very invested.
Okay.
Um, I'd like in summary, I used to watch basketball quite a bit. Grew up actually, baseball was my number one. I was always
Okay.
watching baseball. Loved it, played it.
Okay. I
Watched
never.
some.
Who's your baseball team? I don't know if I've ever asked, and you've ever told me.
Now's the Cubs. I grew up devoted to the Braves, but we got good old, Chicago's very own WGN all the time
Yeah.
growing up, and they would go back and forth between White Sox and Cubs, and I watched a lot of the White Sox then, when the old Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt, his
Okay.
era. But I was devoted to the Braves, and then it kind of started to switch in 2000s to the Cubs. I've been Cubs ever since. Um, but I would watch some basketball, but I've taken a long break from it. And this Pacers run, kind of checking in a little bit earlier on this year,
Yeah.
talking with Pete a little bit about it. And then, yeah, their postseason run, I was starting to catch the early games and stuff. And I was just like, God damn, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun stuff. And Pete, of course, he was just like, hey, you want to talk about it? And I did. And then we got sucked into that. And I wanted to be very clear anytime I talked to Pete of like, I know you are a devoted Pacers fan. That's his number one NBA team. Loves the Pacers. And I said, I'm not sitting here acting like I'm on your level or just because they're doing good that all of a sudden I'm a fan. I said, but I'm really enjoying watching them, that they may lure me back into watch a lot more next year now.
You may have
That
to
was good stuff.
take a trip down to Indianapolis and go see a Pacers game next year.
He and I have been talking about it already.
Oh, is
It's
that
it's a
right?
lot further travel for him than me.
Yeah.
But
Pete, New Jersey Pete is
yeah.
Indianapolis Pacers fans.
I know. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh but yeah,
Hey,
it's
you
a lot of
can't
fun.
you can't help your fandom. Your fandom just
No.
happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
So, all right. Have you
Did you
got
watch any
tickets
of
for
the finals?
go?
Did you
Nah,
watch any of the finals? No, you didn't. Probably
maybe
didn't have didn't
sparingly.
yeah.
I had no interest. Uh, When the Mavs traded Luca, I checked out. I didn't quit them like
Some
other
others. Yeah.
people. Yeah, some
I know.
others
Passionate
like
fan base.
some
I get
blood
it.
relatives of mine who may or may not be my sons. Uh,
He said may or may not. He's not confirming
I
nor
I'm not
denying it.
confirmed or didn't know. I did I told you off the air that then one of those individuals
One
who
of them
may or may not be my youngest son
rascals.
told me yesterday, I'm fixing to buy me a Cooper Flag jersey. So he's apparently back on the bandwagon, and I'm
Cue the Godfather
yeah
3. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me
yeah.
back in.
So anyway, when they
Anyway, all
traded
right.
Luka and the Mavs season just went to hell, I checked out of the NBA. I'm one of those. I'm a Mavs fan, and I'll watch the season games. I mean,
Yeah.
when I got time. It's not. I don't tune in every single game. I'm not that diehard. But if they're in the playoffs, I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Yeah. Fair. There-
So
there's some people, yeah, for sure, of like the fandom of like if my team's not in it, then why do I care?
yeah.
Not saying you said that, but I get it. Of like,
Now the real sport
I'm not gonna
that's
watch.
about to start. Here in about a month.
Pickleball.
The real. Yeah, well, the other real sport.
Okay.
Football season's getting here now. That's where I'm die hard.
Mm-hmm.
Die hard. It
No.
doesn't matter what my team.
Hard to believe.
My team. No matter what my team is, I'm watching every game. I'm not missing it, and so
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Oh, have you got tickets for Superman yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't know when I'm gonna my
I
work
know
schedule and stuff. I don't know when I'm
Yeah.
gonna get to. I'm going to. I just don't
I
know.
know you
when.
haven't been keen to talk a lot about Superman, and that's fine. I haven't really talked a lot about Superman here in this space, but I'm getting like just anecdotal information. I like to ask about it, like because you are in this bubble, the fan bubble
Mhm.
of fandom of this kind
Sure.
of stuff. So when do you think, like, are you going opening weekend? Or are you going to wait?
Yeah, it'll be
Until-
opening weekend.
Okay.
It's definitely one of those of I will, without trying to, be exposed to things I don't want to see if I don't go opening weekend.
Okay.
For that movie.
Yeah.
I won't look for it and somehow I'll see, you know, certain parts of the movie that, spoiler or whatever that I would,
Yeah.
I wish I didn't see that until I saw the movie. So I know
Yeah.
I need to go opening weekend. I know the earlier screenings that week. It's like I'm gonna have to kind of go on a little social media blackout, which is fine.
Yeah.
'Cause I just do. It happens. I think we know it. That stuff happens even if you're not trying to look for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I my interest has increased. I still have my issues that I'm not going to get into because I've talked about it before. But as I said also before, that that first teaser with crypto kind of just sucked me in, and I'm sure that's probably one of the reasons why crypto is actually in this film is because people like dogs, and crypto's he's going to be a rascal who's going to be endearing, and so I am going to the press screening. I think the press screening I'm attending is paired with one of the Amazon Prime things.
Gotcha.
So when is that? The 8th, I guess, July 8th,
Yeah.
I'll see it. And then I bought me a crypto t-shirt to wear.
Oh my goodness. Is that from the Roosevelt's website? It's RSVLTS. Is it them?
No, I almost bought that
Okay.
camp shirt, the button-down
Okay.
camp shirt with
Yeah,
crypto.
yeah, yeah.
But then I found a t-shirt.
A t-shirt. Okay.
It's a t-shirt. It's crypto from the movie. It's officially licensed, and I got his big smiling face on the front, so I'm wearing that. Because I never had told you before, my first dog was named Crypto.
I'm here for the dog.
So I am here for crypto. And I'm wanting to really like this movie. I will be disappointed if I don't like it. I will be disappointed.
And a reason I told you I don't really want to talk Superman on here is like I'm just kind of sick of arguing with people about it. My not wanting to talk about it isn't because like Lauer's pissed about Superman or he doesn't like, just like, no, I don't want to argue with people anymore. I'm like, I'll watch the movie and if I like it, then cool. If I don't, then life goes on.
Yeah.
It's kind of where it is anymore.
You still have Batman.
And Batman's coming. That's where, it's where my passion is. It's where my knowledge is. It's where my fandom is. So
I see what you did there.
I wasn't trying to, but
yeah,
it happens.
Well, that's because, we are professional broadcasters, or at least we pretend to be on this show.
Aspire to be. Yeah.
Okay.
We're good actors.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of the Batman coming, the Batman Part 2 script is done. So everybody can, stop wringing their hands, stop, worrying themselves to death, stop stressing out where they're aging themselves. Their age clock is going like 100 times when it should be, and they're just, every day is another half a year, and it's, because the Batman Part 2 script is done, and by God, everybody can relax now, right?
The most anybody has ever given a shit about a movie script
I know.
that
I
I can
know.
remember. It's ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
And
you know what?
all go back 6 months ago when the announcement of it first got, I always love to lay this out here of like when it got delayed again. I had doubts. You even said it. We've both said it on here of like, hey, I'll say I had my doubts, and you'll say you had your doubts at first. We just didn't get online and start saying, just cancel it, bring on Batman DCU, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
like acting like a toddler. And all these people now that's celebrating about the scripts done, putting that stuff out there yesterday, completely forgot they acted like toddlers 6, 7 months ago.
I did.
It's so annoying. So annoying.
I believe I had taken my mother-in-law to a audiologist appointment, and I was sitting in the waiting room, and I think you texted me the news that the film had got delayed till 2027. And I did a slight over. I'm not going to lie, straight up. I overreacted and said, shit. I thought, there's got to be some shenanigans going on here. Gunn wants to get to DCU Batman, blah, 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 blah. And then I got educated and found out that I was making an asshole out of myself, and I stopped,
Yeah.
But
there's a key
you're
thing
right.
there. If you self-realization, if you're acting like an asshole and I need to put a stop to that. That's key, as a human being.
Yeah.
That you realize it and then
kind
you
of being
stop.
an
And a lot of
asshole right
people
now. Probably
don't
should
know
stop
either
that.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the script's done. Matt Reeves announced it via Twitter/X. It's Twitter to me, just like Captain Marvel is not Shazam. He's Captain Marvel.
Same thing.
Yeah. You know it's coming. 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Let's just hit them all. You son of a bitch.
So Matt Reeves, I guess this was on his other social media. I think on his Facebook too. It's like a picture, kind of a blurry. They're in the background, Matt's and Tomlin and him, but the focus is on the script, pretty much. The Batman Part 2, which it's on there. The Batman Part 2.
The symbol is in focus, and everything else seems
slightly off.
Different. Yes, slightly off. Which this guy, Matt Reeves, he's quite particular.
Yeah.
Don't know him, but by what we've read, seen, listened to him, and everything, he's pretty particular. All that whole image is completely by design. Whole thing.
Yes.
His words that he uses in that post, completely by design.
Yep.
He doesn't just shout shenanigans. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Now, as you say, like, let's enjoy the ride. Let's ride.
Yeah.
To look back on his post.
He says his quote was, "Partners in crime, fighters," in parentheses.
Yeah.
So there you go. Script is done. I'm sure that, okay. I'm sure Gunn and Safran get a hold of it. They'll read it. I don't know. Look, this film's going to get made. Matt Reeves is not putting out that picture.
Yeah.
Unless it's a done deal. It's already done. It was a done deal before all this, And so I found the reaction. I try to limit myself to we're gonna get nuts right here. Okay, let's get nuts. Let's just get nuts. And hopefully people are getting off Matt Reeves nuts. Thank you, James Gunn. Somebody needs to make a t-shirt of that. Get off Matt Reeves nuts. James Gunn.
Yeah.
So I don't try to look at reaction to stuff. I saw a little bit of it. There are people celebrating, right? Tonga lines broke out, happy hours were more happier yesterday afternoon.
And I'm all good with that because it's like, hey, here's
Yeah.
something about, the Batman Part Two.
Yeah.
You have the director slash co-writer with the other co-writer, a post about
Yeah.
it. Cool.
Yeah.
That's from
Yes.
the man himself. The
Yeah.
men themselves. It's like,
Yeah.
here, cool. That's cool.
Okay. Is Matt Reeves putting that out there publicly? If there's still another huge process to get this thing okayed, like there's people like, oh, it's well, James Gunn's got to approve it. It's got to be greenlit. It could push this thing back another year. I'm like, okay, you're just being a hater. It's just that was what I wanted to bring up. There seemed to be this contingent of disappointment, a little bit of some element of disappointment by some characters. Because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's a faction who don't want to small, I'm sure, who don't want to see this film happen.
Probably that
Whatever
same
reason.
faction that doesn't want this new Superman film
Well, they get
to be successful.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it, and I don't I
Yeah.
don't interact with that. I didn't come across. Not that I searched the
Yeah.
webs yesterday, looking for any and all comments about it, but I didn't come across any of what you're saying. So that's good. I'd rather have
This
you
is
see it
just
than me, Bill.
this is no. I did, look, I didn't as soon as I saw just enough to go, I ain't going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. I'm out.
I ain't going down that rabbit hole. But seems there was like a small segment of just people, well, yeah, but yeah.
From people that aren't
I don't
involved
know.
in the movie business.
Yeah.
They don't know how
I don't
movies
see
are
this.
made. They don't know
I
anything.
don't see this film happening. James Gunn may cancel it. Still, he may not like the script. Blah blah blah. And they were all saying, and they were using that voice too. That I was doing that. Yeah, as well.
I'd like to tell them, yeah, and you know what? James Gunn might offer me a movie or a role in a Gotham TV series.
Yeah.
And he might not. Who knows? I don't know.
So we're at the point now. Superman will be out here very quickly. And how long do you say buzz, the excitement for a film, it hits the theaters opening weekend? How long is that big splash, the excitement, the buzz last generally? Couple of weeks, and then you're on to the then the focus is generally, I'm kind of speaking toward the general overall audience, how they perceive.
Let's see. You and I both say that our significant others are good measurements for general audience.
Yeah. Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor.
And for that, I'd say it's got to, 2 months, 3 months out, maybe as like hey, this is coming in 2 or 3 months to pique their interest. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'd see that. And then it's like not really thought about until a couple weeks before the movie comes out. And then after that, it's like, it's not like, because it's Batman. With my lady, of course, I talk nonstop about it that week. But then it is like you said, not living, normal people aren't living and breathing it like us, us fans are. They're dealing with actual life.
So the general audience, for the most part, and I'm talking like 99% of the people, have no clue that Matt Reeves sent that tweet out yesterday.
Yeah, she has no idea that he did.
Yeah, they have no clue. Idea. They have no idea that the movie has been pushed back twice.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea why the movie's been pushed back. They go, when's the next one? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I guess what I was getting at is, because I am talking about the Batman Part 2 and what we should be expecting, what fans can be expecting here coming up. the focus is everything DC Warner Brothers is on. Well, right now it's on F1, but not Warner Brothers. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. Superman. It will be here, and they don't want anything else DC really to take the spotlight away.
And that makes sense. Why would they?
Especially Batman. James Gunn himself has said Batman is the number one superhero, period. And it's Warner Brothers' most important asset.
Yeah.
So, anything more than that Matt Reeves' little subtle post, tweet, social media, whatever, that's fine. The only people who saw it were fans. Fans already know about Superman. Fans are going to go see Superman no matter what. Doesn't matter. So I guess, but to the general audience, we'll get that big media blast for Superman. The movie will come out. And then for everything else, it's kind of like on to the next, right? Fantastic Four coming up, Jurassic Park, all this other stuff. And the movie will continue. If the movie's good, it'll have, good legs and
legs, yeah,
whatnot. But the media blast won't be as nearly on it. So what I'm getting at is it'll get to a point probably in the latter part of the summer where they can start making announcements about the Batman Part 2, like casting. So I took the long way to get there. We should probably start hearing about casting, I'd say late summer, early fall, because this thing is supposed to get filming. They're saying like January of next year. So we're at that point. We're getting to the, like I say, joy of the ride. We're at the point where the kind of the fun stuff is about to start happening. Because with casting will come, what characters are in the film? We know that.
Well, if you do do your research, just think logically. Casting, auditions can't happen until you know what roles are in movies and what dialogue is in the movies, and so all of it, like a script needs to happen first. Okay, we got that's the first piece of this puzzle. Like the script is there.
Yeah.
Cool. So now the next thing is like, yeah, well, now we know what characters are in movies, so let's start thinking of who's going to play. It's just a process, and it'll take a while. And by, history of, I just remember, I do believe it was May that Pattinson was announced as Batman, and they started filming January, so it was like 7 months, 8 months later, and it started to be like, and then that following summer, I think.
How long was it after? How long was it before or after he was cast officially and it was announced that camera test video was put out?
That was January.
Okay.
Yeah, that was January 2020.
Okay.
So like right when filming was beginning, I think.
Okay.
But like that, and then I thought that summer, then before filming started, was when Paul Dano and Kravitz, and then Colin, then that started coming in. So it's like if you just look at the
Paul
history
Dano
stuff
was
going,
like it was like late summer, early fall because school was in.
yeah,
I remember.
and it was
that.
like a boom, boom, boom. I think of him, Kravitz, and Colin Farrell. But I'm like, and then even thinking with Nolan's, it's just like, okay, well, we already know Pattinson's coming back, so we don't need some kind of announcement or anything for that. But these other roles, it's like we're now in summer for filming to start in January, so it just lines up. Hey, in next 2 or 3 months, I think we're gonna start to hear because actors are gonna start signing the contracts and fitting their schedules. Like, oh, I'm going to film part of the Batman Part 2 next year, blah blah blah. So like everything, if we just think about the pattern of how these things have worked out, and I'm not a movie, I don't work in the business and no, that's how it is. It's just looking at the history of things. These things come out as they're getting ready to start filming. So this back half of this year is going to be pretty fun for us because we're going to start to hear a little, couple things here, a couple things there. And then next year will be fun because we'll then get to start to visually see little things. But it's just going to take a while because they're making a movie, and also the movie is, even though we just found out, and everybody was so, immersed in what about the script? What about the script? Well, okay, the script's done for a movie that's coming out in 2 years and 3 months.
Yeah. And
Like,
it's I mean, I would imagine Matt Reeves and probably Matts and Tomlin, as they were adding new characters in who weren't, weren't in the first movie, they probably said, especially Matt Reeves, probably has like, I got there's a couple actors I'd like to, take talk to about this role, and that role. So hell, as far as we know, they could have sent out feelers to people, but they're not going to announce any big stuff like that until Superman's run is pretty much over and they can turn attention to other DC
until
projects.
Superman grounds,
Yeah.
he's flying for the next, month and a half.
When he touches down, changes back into Clark Kent,
puts on the glasses,
then
they'll be like, all right, let's check in with Gotham.
Yeah.
See what's going on there.
But then it'll be fun because we'll know. Look, we know that the scuttlebutt out there, it's legit. The legit scuttlebutt has the core all the core characters are coming back. Zoe Kravitz, of course, Alfred, Catwoman, Alfred, Selena. Well, I'd say Selena. She's not Catwoman yet. Oz is in it. Barry Keoghan. I always pronounce. Is it Keegan? Keoghan.
Keoghan. It's what he was on Happy Sad Confused.
Yeah.
And I think Josh Horowitz said Keoghan, and Barry confirmed it and said, hey, thanks, you got my name right.
Okay. He's supposed to return. We'll see all the, Jeffrey Wright.
Son of a bitch.
He better be in it.
He better be your boy. Hey.
Yeah.
Martinez.
Got to be. He needs to be. I've said it. He better get a damn promotion. He helped take down the Riddler.
He sure did.
He was right there with the Batman.
Pencil neck.
Yeah.
Pencil neck.
So we get these guys back, and then we'll start hearing, okay, well, so
we'll get a new GCPD character for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like we're gonna get somebody because man, he really leaned into those two distinct characters that we just said, that we just mentioned. It's like, man, how could he not have fun and just throw another one in there somehow?
Yeah. Well, you got what the hell's going on here?
What the hell?
But, he's dead.
R.I.P.
So
R.I.P.
Yeah, he's dead. But yeah, you know what? He had some real. Have we had that many Gotham Police Force characters in a film that kind of stood out and kind of became memes and and things we talk about, especially here in this space? Like, you son of a bitch, and
son of a bitch,
Mr. Wayne.
Hey. I don't think so. Like, I'm really trying to wrap my head around it, and I'm not. Yeah, not seeing him. I do. I think Matt Reeves could do it, but I mean, he's already got such like a cast with a lot, that he established that. I'm waiting for the day that Harvey Bullock joins GCPD. That's just it. That's a good character. Not in Caped Crusader, but that's a good character that I think could definitely fit. Obviously, what Reeves does, but I'm not going to be like, why doesn't he use Harvey Bullock? Wah, I'm not going to see the movie, Bill. There's no Bullock in here. Nah.
Yes, just like
I need to get off Matt Reeves' nuts,
Yeah, get off of him. Like the same thing with why did they make Ramirez in The Dark Knight, and they could have made her Montoya? Well, because they didn't. So
exactly, it's really that simple because they didn't. Like who gives a shit? You needed that name to be a different name, and then you felt redemption and been. No, it doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't. Her name could have been Jan Miller. And be like, all right, it's Officer Miller.
Sorry, Jan. All the Jan Millers out there.
All the Jan Millers out there.
Yeah.
But it's just like it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I would like to see Harvey Bullock. I would like to see that. That's something I would like to see.
Well, speaking of Harveys, wouldn't mind seeing. It's just the fan in me talking now. Wouldn't mind seeing Harvey Dent show up.
Yeah.
What's the odds of that?
Same.
I mean, this is the epic
50-50?
crime saga. Yeah.
50-50, Bill.
Coin
Hey,
toss.
hey,
No, that's a
hey
coin
now, hey
coin
now.
toss. That's a coin toss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
You
but
and I remember you and I even went down that we didn't do ridiculous predictions, but
yeah.
I remember you and I discussing that, like, man, what if Harvey Dent shows up in Penguin? And there was debate back and forth, like, I don't know, that's a big enough character. Do you use him in a TV series or do you bring him or is he for movie material? But then also, I mean, Penguin himself was in a movie. Now he's in it. Like we went back and forth on that, kind of waiting
It,
of, man, I'd really like, and we both did agree on the fact that we'd like to see Harvey Dent, period. Harvey Dent for a nice
I
chunk of
now
time.
see why he's not in the Penguin after watching the Penguin season one.
We didn't need it.
Didn't no there was no reason for they didn't go
Yeah.
down the brief times we saw anything law enforcement with Gotham City. It made sense, you know, the cameos that they used. So what they didn't there was no need for the DA to show up,
And
you
how
know.
Penguin ended up, and I'm blanking on the character's name in that last episode that Penguin was talking to with City Council. Couldn't you
Mm-hmm.
see now, like, oh, that lays some good groundwork where now it could feel a little bit better, the table setting for Harvey,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
fighting the
Yeah.
corruption and
Yeah.
politics.
Well, you
Uh,
got what's his name? The DA. He
he gone.
yeah, Peter Sarsgaard's character. He's blown to bits. So you got an opening
I
there.
haven't watched the Batman recently. I'm blanking on his name. What kind of a
Yeah.
fan am I? Don't boot
Colson.
me off this. Yeah, there you go.
Phil Colson.
Yeah.
He's a real son of a bitch. See
He
what I
is a
did there?
son of a bitch. Yeah.
And then you've got, and now we're golf. This is nerding out, geeking out type stuff. But
All right,
you've
let's do
got
it.
you've got kind of like we saw all the good cops who were there
Hmm.
in the streets as the Batman brought Falcone out, right? Those are the
Yeah.
ones that you could trust, the Gordon people. And so they're going to start rooting through the bad cops and the bad DAs. You know, hell, in the whole, you know, the what was it, the 30 Below? What was the damn club underneath the Iceberg Lounge?
Was it something eight below?
Eight,
Was it
whatever,
38 below? I don't, God. Man, I
220,
am.
221 below, whatever. Uh, but you know what? Yeah, it reminds me I need to watch the Batman.
Yeah, same here.
All
44
those, you know,
below.
even you know,
Jeepers.
Bruce is watching it and he's saying, or Batman, and says, "That's a you know a whole district attorney's office is down there." So yeah, you're gonna have to maybe you get a Crusader come in like Harvey, but we're gonna find out soon enough because we're still hearing about casting. This is fun. This is fun. So this hell, enjoy this ride the next couple of years.
Bill, I'm gonna enjoy it because when the Batman Part 2 comes out, I'm gonna be 40. I'm entering a whole new decade. I can, you know what? I can milk these last years of my 30s.
Yeah,
I'm in no rush, to start
yeah.
reaching the 40-year-old um group, I guess you could say. So yeah, like you said, I need to reflect on and not to be like an like to sound like an old man, but it's really fun. I have the the making of the Dark Knight trilogy book right over here on my bookcase, and I just randomly will pick that up and flip through it and stuff, and kind of, it's a fun trip of like, oh yeah, I remember. I mean, some of that was of like I remember reading that stuff on Batman Dash on Dash Film. And then, talking with, there are certain things of talking about people I was in college and then in high school and all that. And it's like, as we've already said, like some of that's now 20 years old this year. It does move fast, so we don't need to be in such a mad rush.
Did you say
It'll be
or
fun.
think ever? Did you ever say or think as we were, you know, as the Dark Knight was coming during that, you know, that time period? Did you ever say, I can't wait for this movie to come out? I can't
Oh
wait
yeah,
till
all
it
the
gets
time.
here. Okay.
All
It's
the time.
17.
Yeah.
That was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how fast
With
that goes.
And I mean, you have to mention that The Dark Knight was named by New York Times
It was
the best
25th.
superhero movie
Yeah. It was
of
25th
the
on the on
21st
that.
century.
Yeah. It was 25th
Like,
on the list of this
you're
movies.
damn right it is.
Yeah. Did you
Damn
see?
right it is.
Also, looking at that list, Nolan had several films in there: Dark Knight,
I'm
Inception,
surprised.
Memento,
I hope he really
Oppenheimer,
makes it as a
Inter-
director.
Interstellar. Yeah, he's got promise, that Nolan.
As long as he stays, on the highway. Don't take these
Yeah.
detours, Nolan, okay? Don't let it get to your head. Start doing the drugs. I don't know. Wouldn't that be the biggest thing ever to find out that like Nolan is just, hey, how is he so good? The dude has
Yeah.
just been high the past 29 years. Like,
he
wow.
he's on crack when he's
He's just
directing the film on set. You know,
and it's the
pretty
exact
dry.
opposite. He's completely focused and chill on crack where everybody else is like, wow.
Oh, no offense, Chris Nolan. We
Hey,
know
if you
we
do
love
it,
Chris.
I don't
We
want to
love
know.
we
And just
love
do your own
Chris
thing.
Nolan here at Batman on Film. You know, we're a bunch of
Maybe too
effing
much.
we're a bunch of effing Nolanites.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
remember that?
I've got
Great.
a, oh yeah,
You're just a Nolanite.
I never got I never got called that, unfortunately, but you got that honor.
You know what?
So you wear it
I'm a
proudly.
proud MFing Nolanite.
Yeah. Really, is that such a bad thing? Because I
No,
don't think it is.
and I'm a Reevesite now. Okay,
Yeah. All right. I think Matt Reeves has to
Nolanite.
prove himself to me.
Oh, does
He's got
he?
to prove himself to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One day. All right.
Yeah.
So circling back, the script
Yes.
is done. Here pretty soon. We're going to start getting casting news. And then for all of you who like, the spy pictures, the paparazzi stuff that when they film on location, you'll get that. I don't tend to, because I don't post it on Batman on Film, but you'll find it wherever you want to if you like that stuff. But also, Matt Reeves, he gives a little more to the fans than Chris did. Where like the camera test video of Pattinson in the bat suit, even before we even realized he was giving us anything, he had that shot from the '60s TV show, the costumes, and he had all the
Hmm.
characters that were going to be in the movie.
Yeah. That's what I
Actually,
mean. Of like this post as we get more as
yeah,
the movie starts getting made. I feel like we can look back on this post and maybe I don't know. I don't want to speculate other than just say like I'll come back and look at the post and
yeah.
we'll see like, oh, was there something in there? I don't know.
Okay, let's just over speculate. Partners in crime. Partners. Does Batman have a partner? Is it Jim Gordon? They're partners. What if he takes on a sidekick? Robin's a
Yeah.
partner. I'm just kidding. I'm having
I
fun
know,
here.
but I mean, you can say anything, and I mean, I cannot definitively say no, that's not what he meant. I
Yeah,
can't. Um, and it may just be like it's a fun play of crime fighters, like just him
yeah,
and Mattson Tomlin, who I know we haven't mentioned too much about. There is, it seems unlike last time where we'd heard that Tomlin was involved and then he didn't get
yeah,
the credit. It definitely seems like the two of them flat out are partners in writing the script.
yeah. Let's
And that is intriguing because it seems like he's a pretty original and he has a pretty unique like view in story, like in story creations. And I'm not just saying because of Batman the Imposter, which you and I both
mhm,
obviously really like loved. And he just did his book finally came out, a Vicious Circle that he
mhm.
and Bermeo did. And I told you it was awesome. It's out now collected, and I think you should take a look at
Okay.
that because
All
it's
right.
a pretty cool original story that apparently they're working on trying to make it a movie. Um, it's a pretty badass story, and Bermeo's art, as you can probably imagine, is next level.
Yeah.
But Tomlin's like I don't know, it's I'm really intrigued of like oh cool, what does he bring to the table? And not that's not in a negative way. It's saying like oh cool,
First
I'm
of
really
all,
intrigued. Like what
yeah,
does he do to help expand the story and move it
I
forward?
am. I'm glad that he's getting credit, a writing
Yeah,
credit, co-writer. Unlike last time, because you know how that stuff, that's all union stuff, and you got to
yeah,
have I don't know the ins and outs, but that's what it boiled down to. He was kind of bummed he didn't get the credit,
Oh yeah, I would be too.
but
Absolutely.
yeah, and but Matt likes him, brought him on. They're partners, and I do wonder, does he bring anything from the imposter with him into part two, like Leslie
When you on,
Tompkins?
on my podcast, we talked The Imposter, you and I did, and we both were very much of just like she was in that character was in Gotham, the TV show. I'm not gonna say it doesn't count because it exists,
Mhm.
but I'm waiting for um live action movie of Leslie Tompkins because I do think that's a no, it's not one that I'm gonna throw a tantrum because she hasn't been in a movie yet. But I do
You're
think I'm
not
like that's a character I think can bring. I know. Give me a couple Mountain Dews. Let me
okay.
shotgun some Mountain Dews, Bill, and
Okay.
take some of this Nolan crack, and then we'll see how I act. And but I think that is a character in Batman lore that I think
Yeah.
oh she could bring a lot to the table that could
The
really
way
be
Let me ask you
interesting.
this, and then we're gonna be done here.
Sure.
The way she's used in The Imposter, would it make sense to be used similar to that with this Bruce Wayne?
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
I am of the mind of because in the imposter, I'm not projecting here. Bruce doesn't. Does he sleep with her in the imposter?
I don't think so.
Okay. For
No, no,
some reason,
no,
I thought that there was
no.
a
The
the
cop.
cop. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna. Okay. Good. So I was gonna say Leslie Tompkins to me is definitely more of the her and Alfred, not a romantic history. They have a history of like
Yeah.
they've known each other for a long time, sort of deal. So she's more so in that age range as opposed to Bruce's age.
Yeah.
But you know what? If Reeves and Tomlin decide that Leslie Tompkins is a 36-year-old therapist, then so be it. It's their
Yeah.
story. They can do whatever they want with it. But the character itself, however, what if uh, there is a therapist, psychologist that Bruce goes and see, and her name is Jan Miller? Will you be pissed, Bill, that it's not Leslie Tompkins?
I will probably I will riot pitchforks
Okay,
and
I'm with you.
torches
Justice for
in in
Leslie.
in Burbank, California, around the Warner Brothers studios. Yeah. It would
Hashtag
be
release
it
the
would be
Leslie
a
cut.
travesty. It would be
Yeah.
just to be outrageous. Complete
Outrageous.
mismanagement. Yeah. There we go. It's
Or
all
they bring
connected.
back
Yeah.
Dr. Chase Meridian.
Yeah. That's the
I don't know.
closest we
Anyways, now
came
I'm
to
getting crazy.
Bruce, it's closest we came
Yeah.
to Bruce, seeing a psychiatrist and trying to help with his Batman trauma. All right.
We've mentioned three, and then I'll shut up.
Yeah.
Harvey Dent, Harvey Bullock, Leslie Tompkins.
Yeah.
In that order of who you'd like to see in the next movie.
Dent, Leslie Tompkins, Harvey Bullock. How about you?
I think I'm that same route. Even though I said I would really like Bullock, it's kind of like we have other GCPD guys that can, fill that void.
Yeah.
Enter Penguin. I'd really like to fill her void. But I think that's the one. Even though we've gotten him in live action, it's still been technically he was in Joker Folie à Deux. But like a good Harvey Dent, it's been like you just said, 17 years at this point.
Well,
Since we've seen him. So yeah, bring him on.
the one thing about Joker 2 flopping that no one, relatively speaking, no one saw it and even realized that Harvey Dent was in
Exactly.
it. So
Yeah.
probably doesn't matter. All right. So the script is done. Relax. Get off Matt Reeves' nuts.
Get off these nuts.
Get off of them. Find something else to do.
There's
Enjoy
plenty
life.
of Batman content. If you like
Yeah.
other comic book and superhero content, there is plenty. Next month, we get a double dose of it. And
Yep.
I'm actually really looking forward to the Fantastic Four movie. I think that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting plenty of stuff. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And if not, go
It'll be-
back and revisit old Batman stuff. Let me tell you, that is a blast. Never loses its fun.
Yes, we enjoy, and here at Batman on Film, we enjoy talking about not only the new stuff coming, but
Yeah,
really like the old stuff because it doesn't
For
go
sure.
away. It's always there,
yeah,
right?
it's always there. That's right.
All right.
That's right.
go ahead. You've got on the podcast, on your podcast, Batman Book Club, you've got what's coming up, and there's a new episode, correct?
Yes. I had a really fun June. In order, talk to the Batman Begins adaptation.
Yeah.
It's Scott Beatty, which you listened to, and you were nice,
Yeah.
and you sent me a text and said it was really good. He did some really great information there. Talked the Batman Forever comic adaptation with Ryan Haas, and then as you just said, the most recent episode, I had big old Tom King come back to talk about Batman Elmer Fudd, and then some of his other Batman writings, in which he said at the very end, because I was just asking, I didn't know anything, if he still had more Batman, in him. And he said, yeah, actually, I just finished writing a 40-page Batman story. What?
Okay.
And he said that with what he thinks is like one of the best artists in comics right now. And there's Bleeding Cool did an article of who they know who that artist is. I'm not going to say. You can look that up if you want.
Okay.
But that's supposed to come next year. And I think it's just going to be like a standalone thing. But anyways, Tom King, great to talk to. He had a lot to say, and that's always fun.
Yeah, check that out.
Coming up is just, more almost back to basics episodes of like looking at some old stories. That's what's scheduled. Looking at old stories, just having fun.
You'll have the June recap.
Yes,
here soon,
the old
right?
Boudin pockets.
With Boudin pockets. Of course, all those podcasts are found on Batman on Film as well. All right. As for me, Batman on Film, batman-on-film.com. That's all I got. Announcer Rachel will take us out. We'll catch you next time. You going to do it, or am I going to do it? Rachel! Rachel!
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.
Batman flying night sky. Jett had a dream, now we're flying high. Since 98, it's been online. All the Bat fans gather and shine. Dark nights and Gotham tales, rockets with stories and never fail. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart. Jett's on the mission, spreading the word. Every bat flick, every unheard, classic tales and brand new Batman movies bring shades of blue. From the Joker's laugh to the hero's call, Batman time, standing tall. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart. That family full of cheer. Since 98 we feel the thrill, keeping the Bat vibes alive still. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film,